Hey everyone, it's Peek. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Pokemon Unite patch notes video. Today I'm going to be going in depth into all the numbers, the deep, the dirty, the dive, all into what happened with the most recent patch that happened yesterday. Sorry it's a little late than usual. Just wasn't feeling it. And you know when I'm not feeling it, you guys, sometimes just not feeling it. So hopefully it still helps you guys out. I'm going to go over things really quickly. Generally, there weren't too many changes, but in terms of me just telling you what kind of is good now and what isn't, this is kind of what this video is going to be more geared towards. So starting from the very top, Pikachu, of course, we knew that Thunder and Volt Tackle was getting buffed. It's not a huge buff. In fact, it's pretty insignificant in my opinion. I don't think it warrants taking these moves over Electro Ball especially. Electro Ball is just still going to be better than Thunder because if you guys remember, Electro Ball for Pikachu has that execute damage, which is just so important in this game. To be able to execute low health targets like you can with Electro Ball, it really just makes it so, I mean, it doesn't really make taking Thunder worth it, especially since Electro Ball's a sure hit, meaning like if you target someone, they're gonna get hit by it unless they have invincibility frames or something. So honestly, Thunder not great. Volt Tackle though, pretty like okay, I guess. You know, see, like still not a huge special attack ratio, so like again, it's not going to make a big a difference compared to the previous iteration of Volt Tackle. I still think Thunderbolt's going to be better though, so I'm a bit bummed to see these numbers be so low, to be honest, because I was really hoping for like a big change up where Pikachu could be decent, but I think it's still just going to have the same issues. Way too squishy at the end game, really strong early, but that's about it. That's like all it offers, right? So moving on to Slowbro. Amnesia, actually so good. Like, it's so improved. I actually played this earlier. I actually went Scald, which, if you guys didn't know, has been buffed like 3 patches in a row. Not in this patch, but like 2 or 3 patches in a row. Slowbro Scald has gotten a damage increase, and now it finally kind of feels like it does something, basically. So with Amnesia, having a 4-second reduction to its cooldown, you really benefit from this healing so much. It feels so good. And you see they like increase the scaling on the healing quite a lot as well. So this is here, let me just actually full screen this. I didn't realize it didn't start in full screen, my bad. It feels a lot better now. So if you have, you know, been wishing Slowbro was a little stronger, I definitely recommend trying out Amnesia Slowbro with either Surf or Scald. I especially really liked it in Scald. I only played in Quick Play though, so you know that might change your experience, but it felt really good. So that's a huge one that I think you guys should try out. Pikachu, not so much. Slowbro, definitely up there in terms of like new strong picks. Maybe not as strong as other Pokemon still, but like I think it's a competitor now for sure. Okay, so we got Gengar next. Gengar has Spell Vamp now, which is like what I already talked about in my previous video when we went over the preview of this. But it's basically like an 1/8 of all the damage it does, starting at level 5. So it's honestly so good. Gengar has really been kind of needing a way to sustain after that whole like issue with the Sludge Bomb and Hex thing got Giga nerfed at the beginning of the game when the game first launched for Switch. Gengar really hasn't seen too much play, and I think this really is going to help him just come more back into the meta, which is kind of scary because Gengar still does a lot of damage, and they recently buffed Shadow Ball and Dream Eater with the previous patch to this one in 1.2.1.6, I believe. And yeah, it was you know, Gengar definitely feels really strong now. He's just more strong than he was before. Like, the ability to sustain is the one thing Gengar didn't really have. Of course, he doesn't really have an escape, so I guess technically, like, unless you use your Unite move, you don't really have a way out. But Gengar's ability to now heal and sustain within a fight really just makes it like much stronger. So highly recommend checking out Gengar. I think it's definitely up there, gets knocked up a tier with this change. Blastoise, of course, took a bit of a nerf, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. Like, I played Blastoise again before I made this video. I tried to like play through the different changes and see how they were, to just give you my anecdotal evidence of like how it feels, right? Of course, we're talking about the straight up numbers here, but it really depends on like how it feels like it performs in a game. So Hydro Pump, obviously it's a decent chunk down from its damage, but Hydro Pump still does a lot. It really didn't increase that much with the base damage, and then of course like the scaling per level is really not that much changed either. It's really just the special attack ratio that you're looking at here. And the thing is, like, as long as the base numbers don't change, I mean, Blastoise doesn't really benefit from like too many special attack items. So like, even though like you get more special attack when you level up. So yeah, like this 6%-ish nerf to the special attack ratio of Hydro Pump hurts. It doesn't hurt that much, and I think Hydro Pump is still pretty good. So when you upgrade to Hydro Pump Plus, you actually get a 7% ratio decrease instead of a 6.5. So, you know, it's just, it hurts a little more, of course, but it's not too bad. I did try Water Spout. The cooldown being reduced by 1.5 seconds it still didn't feel that great to me. I still prefer Hydro Pump Surf personally, but if you're a fan of the Water Spout Rapid Spin build, and you've been a fan of it since Blastoise came out, like some people are, then you might find this quite nice. However, of course, the big thing that needed to happen, this move just did too much damage, was its Unite move. You can see it was nerfed very, very substantially. The damage is decreased by about 400, and its base values, you get much less damage per level, and the ratios like uber tanked. So this is painful. I mean, if you're a Blastoise person and you really enjoyed like one-shotting the entire enemy team with your Unite move, it's probably not gonna happen anymore. However, it's still really strong. I played around with it. It still feels impactful. The fact of the matter is, Blastoise has a ginormous AoE circle knockup, and like, it's still one of the best Unite moves in the game, even with that alone. And the fact that it still does a pretty decent chunk of damage. I mean, this is like, I don't know. It's a decent percentage off the damage, but it's really not that much. Like, it's still doing a lot of damage. 1.3k at base. That's like how much damage you do with Greedent's Unite move. Just throwing it out there. So like at base, before any amount of scaling with special attack and everything like that, like this is still doing a lot of damage. So don't worry if you're a Blastoise fan, it still feels really strong. M-ho. Okay, Venusaur. Giga Drain was broken. We already knew that. Not as much damage distance knockdown as I would have liked to see. So I think actually the Giga Drain Pedal Dance build is still really going to be viable. That's a bit of a bummer because it's just weird. It's just really weird. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's doing much. It's just like a 5% decrease. And like, if you look at these numbers, I'm not going to bore you with the exact stats, but like, it's not that much, right? So Giga Drain Pedal Dance still probably the best. However, I will say that this Solar Beam damage increase from 1% of the enemy max HP per tick of Solar Beam. If you didn't know, Solar Beam does multiple ticks of damage like very quickly during the move, and now it's 1.5%. So good for Zapdos, for example, because it's a Pokemon that has a large HP pool. So a percentage of Zapdos's max HP, right, is going to be a lot of damage. So Solar Beam going to be very good for securing objectives, sniping them away from opponents. So definitely look out for that. But I do think that Giga Drain Pedal Dance is still going to be as potent. I don't think this is really going to change that much of where Venusaur kind of sits. I think he'll probably still be played a lot in higher ranks. So moving on to our favorite little jackal, Lucario. Really, it wasn't too big of a decrease. If you look, like, I mean, it's honestly a joke, guys. Like, I'm not very happy about this one. It's just kind of stupid, but it's whatever. If you look at it, it's like, so for example, at level 1, you went from 165 attack to 160 attack. At level 15, you go from 440 attack to 429 attack. Bro, it's like, whatever. It's dumb, but it's okay. So Steadfast was increased the cooldown to 60 seconds. So this can only happen at most like 9 times in a match, because, you know, you're not gonna be taking near death damage within the first like 30 seconds of the game. So at most 9 times. So that's a lot better than like at most 18 or 19 times during the match when Steadfast can proc. So honestly, very good change. And here's the thing about Power Up Punch. Now, I have not tested it too much, but I've talked to some people who've played Lucario, and it sounds like this has hit it like a decent amount. Not like game breaking, like you can't ever run Power Up Punch again, but it does sound like, due to the changes that were made to Power Up Punch, namely the fact that it like no longer increases your attack stat and doesn't do some wonky things with Lucario stats as you're charging it. It instead just like has its own like damage ratio values. So it has been nerfed, but it's been changed. So I'm hearing that it sounds like it does a little bit less, but like if you look at these attack changes and you look at this, like I mean, Lucario is still broken. So Unfortunate, but here we are, you know, here we are. It's whatever. So yeah, unfortunately, I think Lucario is still the best Pokemon in the game. I would have liked to see him at least dethroned and taken down like a bit more of a tiny notch than it was here. Because like, I mean, his attack change is just like a joke. Think of how much they changed the attack of Cinderace and Greninja, and then look at this. Like at level 15, 11 less attack. Okay, who cares? Like that's the difference between a level 20 and a level 30 item. Like it's not going to make a huge difference. Anyway. Oh, well, it is what it is. Moving on, we got Garchomp. Oh, this song's a banger. Okay. We got Garchomp buffs. So the attack speed, very, very increased. Look at this. You obviously start at around the same attack speed. You're going to be attacking at like from 110 to 111% of your attack speed. But this scales up so much more now. Like it scales up to 147% attack speed. So that's like a huge, huge increase. I'm really, really excited to, I think Garchomp's actually free this week. So if you haven't played Garchomp ever, this is a great time to try him out when he's free in the standard rotation. So go hop in a standard match in a quick play and go try him out. Dragon Rush was also Giga buffed. So I highly, highly, highly recommend going Dragon Rush, Dragon Claw, or either Dragon Rush Earthquake. Both are pretty good in my opinion. I actually like Dragon Claw just for the CC. But you can see also the base damage of Dragon Rush was increased, substantial increase to its per level, increased damage too. So this move was just like Giga buffed. Like never go Dig, always go Dragon Rush at this point basically. So very, very excited to see how this works out. I will admit I haven't tried out Garchomp. It's the one here that I didn't actually get to try. So yeah, but if you haven't tried Garchomp, go try it out in standard matches. It honestly seems really good. We're just gonna have to see, of course, as the patch ages and more people start like seeing how this stuff works, like how it feels, right? So the last three. These are just quick things like we already talked about. Zeraora had a Wild Charge bug, Cramorant bug, Talonflame bug. Not going to waste your time talking about these. You can read them yourself. Okay, so last but not least, this is not exactly what I was hoping for. I was hoping for a little bit more of a nerf to these things, but we'll see. I don't think this changes the meta drastically, but let's just talk about it. So Zapdos drops less energy now. You still get 30 points if you're the one who last hit Zapdos, by the way. So if I'm the Greninja, I last hit it with like my Surf or my Water Shuriken or whatever, right? I get 30 points. That hasn't changed. What does change is that all the people on my team are now only going to get 15 orbs instead of 20 orbs. So keep that in mind. Your team gets like, I mean, this is basically like 20 less energy, which in double points time translates to 40. So it's 40 less points you're potentially getting from Zapdos for free. It's not enough, frankly. It's not enough. I would have liked to see this go down to 10, like from 20 to 10, and then like maybe reduce the last hit bonus to 20 instead of 30. But it is what it is. So we got Drednaw next. It gives less shields, down to 8% max HP. I don't think we actually have the previous patch numbers, but it's okay. I think it's still pretty decent. Like 8% of your max HP is similar to other like MOBA objectives, such as like the Mountain Drake in League of Legends. This is going to provide you a decent amount of shield. Of course, with Drednaw shields, they're temporary. They don't last the whole game, but it's still pretty good for giving you just that little bit of extra HP and edge going into a fight or trying to score on enemy goals. You will get less XP. This is like 25% less, obviously, if you do the math in your brain. It's not a lot. Like Drednaw still gives a lot of XP. It's not that big of a change, frankly. But the big thing is, honestly, I think the biggest thing out of this whole thing is the fact that Rotom is much stronger now. So I'm curious to see like kind of how this plays out and if more people start going for Rotom than usual. Hopefully people still go for Drednaw because I think it really wasn't nerfed that much. But we'll see. So instead of the goal being vulnerable for 15 seconds, it's now vulnerable for 25. That is a very long time for a 10-minute game. So just keep that in mind. If you get Rotom into an enemy goal, I mean, you should be able to take that goal down pretty much. I think the issue with Rotom was that like an enemy team could stall out for 15 seconds, especially if it was on their tier 2 goal. They could stall out to the point where like you weren't able to break the goal. But I think at this point, like 25 seconds of goal vulnerability onto an enemy goal, it's pretty much a free goal essentially. So Rotom has a lot more value now. It moves faster. It does more damage. So it's more of a threat. It's actually more like a 6-team member than it was previously. And now its HP pool is bigger. So it's going to be harder to take down. Again, as we mentioned, in the preview video, you know, you're probably going to need more than one person now to just like take this thing down from your goal. So that is going to do it. I tried to make this as quick as possible, but this is all you need to know about this patch. I will go over the Halloween stuff because some of it is very cringe. Some of it is very important for you to know. So I will come out with a video on that shortly as well. But I wanted to get this out for you guys so you just kind of heard my thoughts and stuff like that. So appreciate you guys watching. As usual, subscribe if you're new. You can always unsubscribe later if you lose interest in me or lose interest in Pokemon Unite. But you know, if you wanna stay up to date on my stuff, go follow my Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube. You know, bada bing, bada boom. It's what you do. So appreciate you guys watching as usual, and see you in the next one. Peace.